Welcome back, friends. Today I'm going to tell the story of a good man. My uncle passed away this week, just 29 days short of his 91st birthday. My uncle was quite plain and simply a good man. He grew up in Larchmont, New York, just north of New York City. I just found out yesterday that over the last year or so, one of his granddaughters had purchased a tape recorder, and she sat with him, and health provider sat with him and asked questions, and we have recordings of many of his stories from his childhood and his life. I can't wait to hear them. I've heard many of them. See, my uncle, a little soft-spoken, not really wanting the center of attention, was one of the best storytellers. Memories from my childhood when, for the holidays, our two families would get together, and I'd always look forward to my uncle regaling us with stories of life and goings on in the world, and I always remember his distinctive tone and distinctive laugh. A laugh that was as infectious as it was distinctive. A laugh that would make you want to join in. And the more those around him smiled, the more he'd smile. Oh, those were great times. Oh, other fond memories or childhood was, my uncle was a pipe smoker, and the smell of his pipe is as much ingrained in my memory as the smell of the Thanksgiving turkeys roasting, the pumpkin pies baking. They're all synonymous with the holidays. My uncle loved sailing. When he was a kid, he used to hang around the yacht club, and he really fell in love with the sport, activity, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, he loved sailing. It was in his blood. One of his greatest stories was at the age of 12, he rode out the hurricane of 38 on a sailboat. Unbelievable story. The sailboat's named the Mashney, and he would smile every time he saw a picture of it. Later in life, he started getting back into sailing. I remember going out a couple times with him and my cousin, and picture of a happy man that is leaning back with pipe between his teeth and hand resting on the tiller, giving instructions on how to set the sails to best optimize the wind for where we wanted to go. Truly a picture of a happy and contented man. But as I look back, I could also see there's extra joy in there as his son was becoming so interested in a hobby that gave him so much joy. Something my cousin still enjoys to this day. In his youth, my uncle was an exceptional football player. He was actually offered scholarship to major university, but it came with conditions that were unacceptable, so we decided to go another route. and make it on his own. With his love of sailing, he was trying to get into the Coast Guard, and he'd passed every test and every exam. And it came down to the physical when they found out he was colorblind, so the Coast Guard wouldn't accept him. So instead he joined the Army, where he served honorably for several years, attaining the rank of Staff Sergeant. And his primary responsibility was training in artillery. The humble man that he was, later in life, when the family was signing him up for VA benefits to help him through his final years, he didn't feel he deserved them. He says, this is for the guys that went overseas, guys that served on the front line. Well, he did his job honorably for several years and almost lost his hearing in the process. Yeah, the country owes you a debt. Take your benefits. But while he was in the Army, he played semi-pro ball for him. And again, he was pretty good. So at one point, he was being recruited by the San Francisco 49ers, but as that was going on, he got news that his dad had been diagnosed with cancer, so he turned it down and did the right thing to come home and help care for his parents and their property. Again, a good man. He did the right thing. His next anniversary would have been his 65th. If you count the years of courtship, he and his wife were together for some 69 years. An amazing record. She described him to me this week as I've been saying, he's a good man, he was a good husband, he was a good father, he's a great grandfather, and an amazing great grandfather. My uncle was a craftsman who could take a little hunk of wood and turn it into a little piece of art, little keepsake for family members, and these are all treasured little keepsakes, really intricate, detailed pieces of work. He was a man of extreme patience, but through it all, what he loved most was his family. His wife, his daughter, his son, and then as families grow, all his 5 grandkids, 4 granddaughters and a grandson, and then some 4, almost 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago, a great-grandson. He loved them all dearly. They've been sharing pictures of themselves with Papa all week. And you can just see the joy. Not only in his eyes, but in their eyes. That's a sign of a great man when he can bring out that so much joy in somebody else, be such an influence on their lives. Because yeah, he was the patriarch, the leader, the role model for the family. He was an amazing influence on my life. I learned so much from him during one tough point in my life. I was going through a little bit of problems with my family. He and my aunt took me in for a year, put a roof over my head, fed me. They didn't lecture me on things I'd done wrong or things I could handle better. They just supported me, let me know that they were there to care. That debt I can never adequately repay. My uncle served or worked many years as a lineman for the power companies. And I have deep respect for the men and the folks that go out and in some of the most horrible conditions to keep the power going and restore power, and bitter cold and winds and snow and all that is just miserable times, and the heat and the humidity of the summer. If the power's out and he gets a call, he went. There were people that were in need, and he did the job, and he did it right. So the family's been struggling this week. Because even though 91 years describes a full life for a good man, it just doesn't seem like it was enough. We'd like more time. But anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Until next time.